Today, while I was on my stream, I had a person just type in how with a question mark. I know that at a simple glance, how is innocuous, but asking how was one of the things that gang stalkers used to keep me thinking of gang stalking. This is far reaching. What I'm about to tell you is far reaching, but I want to explain this to you just so that you understand how covert gang stalking tactics are. Look, I was doing my stream and I was simply just working out and being silly, and someone literally just typed how, but there was absolutely nothing to ask how about. As soon as this person said that, and I tried to rationalize why someone would say how, I thought that must be a gang stalker because asking how at that point made no sense. So that triggered a lot of memories. I had a cascade of memories. And I remembered a bunch of people during my gang stalking operation that literally just asked how for no apparent reason. To any person, as say anyone saying how out of the blue for no apparent reason would lead them to the conclusion that they thought of something and they wonder how is this person doing that, you know. But when I was gang stalked, I literally had people say how around me hundreds of times. I believe that these people were saying how about how I was doing to survive gang stalking. How was I not crazy? This wasn't the only thing that gang stalkers said. Gang stalkers also said, "What the fuck?" repeatedly. They also used to say, "Oh wow," like for no apparent reason. These phrases were used around me a whole lot. And look, I know that people use these words and say these things all of the time, but I would literally just be hanging out, playing video games or reading, and at least 10 different people would use any of these phrases right by me. I couldn't help it but to tie in gang stalking because it was definitely a part of my gang stalking operation. With time, anyone who said how, anyone who said ooh wow, or anyone who said what the F, I immediately began assuming that they were gang stalkers because at that point in time, that was true. But look, here for example, when we see where it says how here on the screen, gang stalkers would literally just throw that around. And I couldn't help it but to believe that they were asking how, how am I still here, you know? And this is exactly what happened today during my live stream. I had completely forgotten about this. But gang stalkers are going to repeat a lot of phrases very often around you to make you think of gang stalking. The whole day I have been stuck on how. Like this how that you see on the screen has literally been replaying in my head the whole day, which is exactly why I needed to make a video about it. Gang stalkers literally conditioned me to think of gang stalker whenever I would hear the word how. And this is how they did it. Someone would say simply how or WTF, and whenever I would look and turn around, they would do the gang stalking grin. They did this so much that I would immediately be made to think about gang stalking as soon as I would hear that word. No one had said that in that manner in forever. It had been a really long time. But it worked. I had literally been thinking about what could have that person meant by when they said how? What could have been their intentions? And that is the purpose. It's for you to start trying to decipher their unanswerable questions. The word how, with no context, is meant to keep you thinking. It's meant to keep you thinking. That is gang stalking harassment. And look, I told you in the beginning of the video that this was going to be far reaching. But gang stalking harassment is anything that is meant to keep you stuck in your head. Because at that point in time, asking how and saying nothing else is meant to keep you thinking. One of the best things that I found to stop overthinking what was happening to me was to talk about the intentions of every single thing that gang stalkers did to me. Everything. Because if I take it out and I explain its effects and their intended purpose, I get it out of my system and then my mind can let it rest. Having this YouTube channel in itself has been one of the most therapeutic things that I have ever experienced. To anyone that heard any of these people saying how around me, it is simply going to appear like some person saying how for no apparent reason. But when you have at least 100, at least people, a group of people asking you how and looking at you weird and sabotaging your things every day, day in, day out, for many years, it's going to have a negative impact on your mind. Gang stalking harassment is not illegal, but it should be. It really should be. However, if you don't understand gang stalking harassment, you're gonna lose the battle, which is the exact same reason that I'm making these videos. I was honestly caught off guard, and I was just stuck thinking about gang stalking to the point where I didn't block this person that said how for no apparent reason. It left me thinking to the point where I wasn't able to react. To any person, this whole WTF or how is gonna appear just like a single word. But these words, these phrases were weaponized against me and they worked really well. And all gang stalking harassment has this particular thing in common where it keeps you thinking. Gang stalking harassment keeps you thinking, and there are endless ways of keep someone thinking, such as for no apparent reason asking a person how, or accusing someone of doing something. So gang stalkers also said, "This is what you get for messing with the wrong person." That comment is psychological aggression because it's meant to keep you thinking. You're gonna go into your mind and think of all the messed up things that you did to people. And you're gonna be wondering which one of these people could have been, and you're gonna stay stuck in your head. Or this is what you get for what you did. And you're gonna stay stuck in your head and you're gonna be thinking, what did I do? And you're gonna be stuck there. That's the purpose, to keep you thinking. That is what asking how with no context or saying these vague things have in common. Also, when a gang stalker accuses you of being a degenerate or being a pedo, if you can familiarize with any of those things, you're going to be wondering, why are they calling me this? And then you're going to be exploring your mind to see if you can find the reason that these people are accusing you of these things. But the truth is that gang stalkers are going to accuse you of everything they can to see what clicks. They're gonna try to say things to keep you thinking. And my best personal solution is to make video about things that actually made me think and plan ahead what I'm gonna do about it next time it happens. So next time someone says how for no context or anything that keeps me stuck in my head, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply ban that person so these people cannot keep harassing me. And I know that asking how is hardly harassment. But the truth is that gang stalking harassment is something that most people don't understand. And that's exactly why most people won't see it. Because of gang stalking, now I actually feel well equipped to drive someone crazy if I wanted to. However, I don't want to because I have things to do. And I don't want to invest my time in driving someone crazy because it's not going to benefit me. I have more important things to do. And even if it benefited me, I'm not that type of person. So again, gang stalking harassment is meant to keep you thinking. And anything that keeps you thinking about gang stalking, that keeps you stuck in your head, or any person that is pushing onto you unanswerable questions back to back, if you're a target, a victim of gang stalking, those are the people that are driving you crazy. That's how gang stalkers drive people crazy. Please understand that. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye. How?